Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. And a very warm welcome to you all, wherever you are joining us from today. My name is Khanssa Lagdami. I'm an associate professor in maritime labor law and policy at the World Maritime University here in Malmö, Sweden. Today, it is my honor and my pleasure to serve as your moderator alongside my esteemed colleague, Dr. Anas Alamoush. On behalf of the World Maritime University, an institution established under the auspices of the International Maritime Organization and the United Nations, I extend a heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you, our panelists, our alumni, our students, our colleagues, and all participants from across the globe who have carved time out of their day to join this conversation. The maritime sector is no stranger to change. For centuries, it has adapted to new trade routes, to new technologies, to evolving regulatory frameworks. But what we are witnessing today is something qualitatively very different. The convergence of digitalization, automation, artificial intelligence, and green innovation is not simply upgrading the maritime industry. It is reshaping it. It is changing how ships are designed today and operated, how ports are managed, how seafarers are trained, and ultimately, how the entire global supply chain functions. We are not on the eve of transformation, but we are in the middle of it. Nowhere in this transformation more consequential and more full of possibilities than in the MENA region. The Middle East and North Africa sits at the heart of global maritime trade. It hosts some of the world's most strategically vital waterways, the Suez Canal, the Strait of Hormuz, the Red Sea corridor. Its ports are growing. Its shipping industries are expanding. Its governments are making bold investments in infrastructure and maritime capabilities. If I give just for example, Saudi Arabia Vision 2030, for instance, places maritime transport at the very center of its economic transformation agenda. Morocco as well, they are investing a lot in the sector. So across the region, from the Gulf to the Maghreb, there is a momentum, a real tangible momentum towards modernization. Integrating future technologies in this region does not come without complexity. Questions of regulatory readiness, questions of equitable access to technology, questions of workforce adaptation, of capacity building, of technology transfer, and of ensuring that no country, no port, no community of seafarers is left behind in this transition. There is also a question that is close to my heart as an academic and researcher, the role of women. Women in MENA maritime are not only underrepresented, they are often invisible in the data, in the policy discussions, in the boardrooms where these decisions are made. And today, we will try to change that, at least in part. To explore those questions, we are joined today by two voices, two exceptional voices, let's say, each bringing a distinct national perspective and a depth of expertise that I know will enrich this conversation enormously. His Excellency, Mr. Engineer Essam M Alammari, Deputy of Maritime Transport, Transport General Authority, Saudi Arabia, Miss Maya Tayara, Head of Maritime Training Division, Ministry of Public Works and Transports, Lebanon. And unfortunately, we will be missing Mr. Murad Gorbal, maritime expert and former technical officer of Safety Division at the IMO from Tunisia, who unfortunately who is unable to join us today due to some health issues. We wish him a very speedy recovery, and we are grateful that his expertise and contribution to this field continue to inspire work in the MENA region and in particular in the Maghreb, and we look forward to welcome him at future events. So basically, we'll have two countries, two perspectives, two institutional shared horizons, let's say. So here is how the next hour will unfold. Following these opening remarks, we will move directly into our panel discussion. I will give few questions to His Excellency Essam M Alammari, and after that, Ms. Maya Tayara will present a presentation given the perspective of Lebanon in those matters. And then we will follow again with some questions and answers, and of course, you are all welcome to send us your questions. There is a reason that WMU hosts conversations like this one. Our mission, education, research, capacity building in maritime affairs, is animated by a belief that the future of this industry must be shaped not by a few, but by many. That knowledge must be shared across borders, that the voices of developing nations must be at the table, not at the margins. So today's webinar is part of that commitment that our university is taking. And so without further delay, let us begin. So let me open our discussions by turning directly to our first panelist, Mr. Essam M Alammari from Saudi Arabia. I know that Saudi Arabia is at the forefront of maritime transformation in the MENA region, with the Vision 2030 placing the sector at the heart of economic diversification. From your vantage point as Deputy of Maritime Transport at the Transport General Authority, what are the most significant technological shifts currently shaping the Kingdom maritime transport landscape? The floor.
Thank you, Doctor, and allow me to say good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to join this distinguished panel representing Saudi Arabia Maritime Sector and the World Maritime University Board of Governors. The maritime industry, as you've said, Doctor, is undergoing one of the most significant transformation in the history. Digitalization, automation, decarbonization, and evolving workforce expectations are reshaping how we regulate, operate, and develop the sector. For the MENA region and Saudi Arabia, these changes present tremendous opportunity. The challenge is ensuring that innovation, regulation, and human capital evolve together. Back to the question, I would say when people talk about maritime transformation, they often focus on physical infrastructure like ports, ships, and logistic corridors. While these investments are important, the most profound transformation taking place today is digital. At the Transport General Authority, we see digitalization not as the end itself, but as the strategic enabler of safer operation, smarter regulations, and greater competitiveness. Our efforts are focused on three priorities. The first is modernizing maritime services and regulatory process through digital platforms that make service faster, more transparent, and easier to access for ship owners, operators, and seafarers. Secondly, strengthen data-driven maritime governance through advanced maritime transformation systems, including Saudi Arabian international and national LIT data centers, as we are enhancing safety, security, compliance, and operational awareness through real-time information and analytics. The third point is enabling the future maritime ecosystem by supporting innovation in smart shipping, automation, artificial intelligence, and other emerging technologies in collaboration with industry, academia, and international partners. What is the important is that we do not view digitalization as technology project. We view it as a competitiveness project, one of the strengths, resilience, improved performance, and help position Saudi Arabia as leading global logistic hub. Ultimately, our objective is to build a maritime ecosystem that is not only connected and efficient, but also intelligent, future-ready, and aligned with the ambitions of Vision 2030 of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alammari, for this explanation and the vision of the Kingdom towards the implementation of technology. My question, or my next question, will be regarding your work at the IMO as a former representative of the Kingdom at the IMO, and your familiarity of the work of the IMO. So, in your point of view, are the existing IMO regulation that we have for now are sufficient to govern the pace of technological change that we are currently witnessing? And do MENA countries need to develop complementary regional frameworks for that?
Thank you. A very good question. The IMO remains the cornerstone of global maritime governance and international standards, and must continue to provide the foundation for managing technologies change in shipping. Maritime transport is inherently global. Ships move across jurisdictions, and therefore many of these challenges we face require global harmonized solutions. At the same time, innovation is advancing at an unprecedented pace. Developments in automation, again, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, digitalization, and autonomous systems are challenging regulators to be more agile than even before. Especially with the last Maritime Safety Committee, we've approved mass code, for example. In my view, this is not a choice between global regulation and regional cooperation. We need both, but for different purposes. The IMO should continue to lead in developing internationally consistent standards, while regional cooperation can accelerate implementation and strengthen technical capacity, share best practices, and support innovation. The key is to avoid regulatory fragmentation. Innovation benefits from flexibility, but international shipping depends on consistency and predictability. Ultimately, I would say our objective should be clear: global standards developed through the IMO, supported by regional cooperation that accelerates progress with creating parallel regulatory regimes. And using of technology may evolve rapidly, as everyone knows, but the principle that underpin maritime regulation, safety, security, environmental protection, and international harmonization remains as relevant today as ever. That's what I would close the discussion with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alammari. My third question, let's say, before giving the floor to Ms. Maya, is as one of our WMU board governors, what role should institutions like the World Maritime University play in building capacity building in the MENA, for the MENA countries that lack local maritime expertise or institutions or research centers?
Thank you for the question. I believe maritime capacity building is no longer simply an educational issue. It is a strategic development imperative. And as one of the World Maritime University Board of Governors and representing MENA, we say always that across the MENA region, many countries have ambitions or ambitious maritime aspiration. Yet not all have access to specialized maritime university, research institutions, or the expertise required to support long-term sector development. This is where the institution as the World Maritime University can make a transformative impact. And I would say those points on as first, by expanding access to world-class education and professional development opportunities, ensuring that talent is not constrained by geography. Secondly, by serving as a global platform to research, innovation, and policy dialogue, helping countries navigate emerging challenges such as digitalization, decarbonization, and maritime security, and the future of shipping. Thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, by helping countries to build sustainable local capabilities. Success should not be measured by how many students studied abroad, but by how many maritime leaders, researchers, and experts we enable countries to develop and retain at home. I also see a tremendous value in strengthening partnerships between World Maritime University, maritime administration, industry, and academic institutions across the region. Building a network of knowledge can be just important as building physical institutions. Ultimately, I would say the future of maritime sector will depend not only on the technologies we adopt, but on the people we develop. The most important maritime infrastructure any country can invest is human capital. And this is what we believe, again, back in the kingdom and within the IMO family and system. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Alammari, for this excellent responses. And I think we can feel the ambition and the passion on changing things in the region. I will now give the floor to Ms. Tayara for her presentation, and then to my colleague for some questions. My colleague Anas.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tayara, and I am the head of Maritime Training Division in Lebanon. Today, I would like to share how we are preparing the next generation of seafarers for an industry that is changing rapidly through digitalization and sustainability. These changes are reshaping ships, ports, and maritime operations, and training institutions must evolve alongside them. The maritime industry today is very different from what it was 10 years or even 5 years ago. So modern ships are becoming smarter, more connected, and more environmentally conscious. As a training division in Lebanon, our responsibility is not only to teach traditional maritime skills, but also to prepare cadets for the technology and environmental requirements they will encounter throughout their careers. The maritime sector is currently experiencing two major transformations at the same time. The first is digitalization, which includes automation, smart navigation systems, cybersecurity, and data-driven operations. The second challenge is sustainability. The second is sustainability, driven by international efforts to reduce emissions, improve energy efficiency, and adopt cleaner fuels. So, future seafarers must understand both areas because they are becoming essential parts of daily maritime operations. To prepare our cadets for smart ships, we focus on several key competencies. These include digital literacy, electronic navigation systems, cybersecurity awareness, ship automation technology, and the ability to interpret operational data. For example, Many vessels now use predictive maintenance systems that analyze equipment performance and identify potential problems before any failure may occur. This means future officers need to understand not only how equipment works, but also how to use digital information to make better decisions. To support this transition, Marsati, the Maritime Sciences and Technology Institute in Lebanon, is currently discussing a strategic partnership with a company specialized in advanced technology solutions. The objective is to introduce areas such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, the Internet of Things, robotics, and virtual reality into maritime training. This partnership would help us develop new programs and certifications that reflect the needs of the modern maritime industry. Our goal is simple: to ensure that Lebanese cadets and seafarers possess the digital skills required by tomorrow's workforce. Digitalization is only one side of the equation. The maritime sector is also moving toward greener operations, and cadets must understand environmental regulations, emission reduction measures, energy efficient practices, and alternative fuels. Many shipping companies are already investing in vessels powered by fuels such as methanol, ammonia, and hydrogen. As these technologies become more common, maritime education must ensure that future seafarers are ready to operate safely and efficiently in this new environment. While technology offers many advantages, it does not replace the human element. At Marsati, we strongly believe that technology should support people, not replace them. Human judgment, leadership, situational awareness, and strong seamanship remain fundamental skills. For example, a navigation system may recommend a route, but the officer on watch remains responsible for evaluating conditions and making the final decision. Technology and seamanship must work together. Perhaps the most important skill we can teach today is adaptability. Technology will continue evolving throughout a seafarer's career, which means learning cannot stop at graduation. Continuous professional development, upskilling, and openness to new technologies are becoming essentials. We are not only preparing cadets for their first job at sea, we are preparing them for a career that may span decades of technological and environmental change. In conclusion, our vision is to develop maritime professionals who are digitally capable, environmentally responsible, professionally competent, and ready for the future. By combining technological awareness, sustainability principles, and strong maritime foundations, we can ensure that the next generation of Lebanese seafarers remain competitive in a rapidly changing global industry. Thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward for the discussion and to hearing your perspectives. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Maya, for your presentation. Again, a warm welcome to all the panelists, and thank you for your insightful discussion so far. We have explored a number of themes, and my question to you, I know that you have already covered part of it in your presentation, but to dig deep into Lebanon's context, I want to ask you, how is Lebanon Maritime Training Division adapting its curricula to prepare cadets for digitalized and greener fleet? And of course, if you have capacity needs required to catch up with such technological pace.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you. Our mission, our goal is to prevent seafarers from being left behind by automation. I think the key message is that automation should not replace people, as I already said. Experienced seafarers have years of practical knowledge, judgment, and problem-solving skills that technology cannot simply replicate. The challenge is helping them combine that experience with new digital skills. This means training cannot stop after certification. Lifelong learning must become part of maritime careers. We should see reskilling not as fixing a weakness, but as helping professionals stay valuable in a changing industry. Thank you.
And thank you very much for your insightful response, which clearly highlights how Lebanon's maritime training system is evolving and also responding to digitalization and other transformation pressures. So my other question to you as senior women in Lebanese maritime administration, what structural changes have been most effective in opening doors for women in the sector?
Well, let me tell you, as a member of the Executive Council of the AWIMA Regional, and recently in Lebanon, we have launched the AWIMA Lebanon chapter. I think we have to look beyond numbers. It's important to know how many women are entering the sector, but that's only the first step. The bigger question is, are they staying, progressing, and reaching leadership positions? For example, if a company proudly says that 30% of its new recruits are women, that's good. But if very few of those women are still there 5 years later, or none are in management roles, then something is clearly missing. Actually, a couple of years ago, I had an interesting discussion with the management team of DP World. They told us that in the beginning, they recruited women individually, but many of them left after a few months. They realized that being one of only a few women in a traditionally male-dominated environment could be challenging. As a result, they changed their approach and recruited a group of around 10 women at the same time. This helped create a stronger sense of inclusion, support, and belonging from day one. According to the management team, the approach was successful, and today women make up a significant part of the workforce, including in leadership positions. To me, this is a good example of how inclusion is not about opening the door. It's about creating an environment where people can succeed and build long-term careers. Real inclusion is about opportunity, retention, and participation. You like to ask 3 simple questions. Are people joining? Are they staying? Are they advancing? If the answer to all 3 is yes, then we are making real progress. Because at the end, inclusion is not just about having a seat at the table. It's about having a voice in the conversation and a fair opportunity to shape the future of the industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your valuable insights, which effectively illustrate the structural changes required to support women in Lebanese maritime sector and also in the MENA sector. Now I leave the floor back to my esteemed colleague, Professor Khanssa Lagdami, to lead the rest of the discussions for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anas, and thank you very much, Maya, for your insightful and excellent presentation. My question will be really related to the last question that you extend to Maya, Anas. Mr. Alammari, how can emerging maritime technologies, remote operations, digital tools that are present now in ports and on board ships can allow to have a flexible working arrangements and be leveraged as a deliberate strategy to attract and retain more women in the industry. I know that it's one of your favorite topics. I know that you are working a lot and fighting to bring more women in the sector. I mean, at the IMO, we know that you have been mentoring a lot of women. So I'm happy to hear your point of view about this topic.
Thank you, Doctor. Indeed, and I salute every woman that is serving the maritime sector around the world from this platform. Regarding the question, I would say one of the most significant opportunities created by maritime digitalization is its ability to broaden participation and make the sector accessible to a wider and more diverse talent pool. Technology is reshaping the nature of maritime work, roles in remote operation, smart ports, data analytics, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and you name it, digital fleet management, and creating new pathway into the industry and offering greater flexibility than many traditional maritime roles that we learned when we joined the sector. However, technology alone is not enough to attract and retain women. This is the topic of the question. Organizations must be intentional in creating inclusive workplace through mentorship, leadership development, equal opportunities, and supportive organizational cultures. Flexible working arrangements and digital collaboration tools can certainly help, but they must be accompanied by leadership practices and organizational policies that enable talent individuals to build long-term career and progress into decision-making position. And I will just give a little example. This is what we've done a couple of years ago in this topic. And today we see more women engagement, and the number hopefully soon will get to 50-50. And this is our target, even more in the kingdom. Ultimately, the goal is not simply to bring more women into the sector. It's to create an environment where they can thrive, lead, and shape the future of the industry. And this is what we believe in. Because diversity is not only social objectives, as it happens in many countries or regarding the SDGs of the UN. It is a business and innovation imperative that more perspective we are bringing to the table, the better equipped we are to solve the complex challenges facing maritime sector, and today and in the future. Technology can be an opportunity, but inclusive leadership is what transforms those opportunities into lasting career. And again, from here, thank you for that question and send my regards to all the great women that they're serving the sector around the world today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Alammari. My following question will be towards Ms. Maya. And based on your experience and based on the work that you are doing in the Lebanese Maritime Administration, and I know that you are very engaged in the AWIMA. For the ones that they don't know, the AWIMA, it's the Maritime Association that it was established by the IMO, but now we have in the MENA region chapters of this association to include and to encourage women to work on this sector. So my question is that is the MENA ahead, behind, or in line with the global digitalization trends? Based on all your experience, I know that you are working, outside of Lebanon, and you are engaged on a lot of projects with EMSA, for instance, in the region. So what do you think about, the picture that we have and we are giving to the world today?
Yeah, let me tell you. In fact, I'm now in Barcelona. I had been here for the past 2 days. I'm participating in the kick-off meeting with port authorities and project partners for the Open Trade Med project. The project focused on digitalization, collaboration, and innovation in port operations, which aligns very well with the topic of our discussion today. As we know, the Med ports are highly diversified because they connect multiple continents, trade routes, cargo types, and economic sectors in a single region. You can find a lot of people working, a lot of activities, a lot of trucks, logistic parts, warehouses, offices, marinas, which create an added value for our ports. As to come back to the question, if the MENA region is ahead, behind, or in line with the global digitalization trends, in my opinion, I think the MENA region is a mix of all three. Some parts, like in the Gulf, are among the most advanced in the world when it comes to automation, smart logistics, and digital services. At the same time, unfortunately, other ports are still in earlier stages of digital transformation. So the real challenge is not technology itself, but making sure digitalization reaches the entire maritime ecosystem. For example, a port may have automated gates and digital customs systems, but if shipping companies, regulators, and logistics providers are still exchanging information manually, the full benefit is lost. I think the next step for MENA is moving from isolated success stories to a connected regional system where data flows smoothly between ports, authorities, and shipping stakeholders. So overall, I would say MENA has some world-class leaders, but we still have work to do in terms of integration and consistency across the whole region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maya. And I really like the fact that you highlight the fact that the region should work, in an integration system instead of being, in isolated initiatives, because we have, some success stories in the region. And I think if the work can be done in a regional manner with a collaboration between countries, it might shown also globally. But we can't talk about this topic without also highlighting the fact that the political issues that we have in the region are not easy to handle, and to show also the work that it's done behind. My question will be also for you, and I think it was the same question that I give before to Mr. Al Ammari. It's about the IMO regulation, and it's really related to what you are saying.
Yes.
Do you think that it's enough to have only the IMO, regulation, or should the region work on regional initiatives to make things happening in terms of capacity building, in terms of training, in terms even of the implementation of the regulation, which is a big issue in the region? So, we have most of the countries have ratified IMO conventions, but then when it comes to the implementation, it's challenging, let's say. So, what do you think?
Yes, my answer will be complementary to the previous one. In principle, IMO provides the global foundation, as we know, and that foundation is absolutely necessary because ships move between countries every day. So we need common international rules. However, technology is evolving very quickly, and every region has its own realities and challenges. That is why I believe MENA should complement IMO regulations with regional cooperation and frameworks. For example, let me give you an example. If neighboring countries adopt different standards for digital documentation, cybersecurity reporting, or port data exchange, it creates inefficiencies for shipping companies. Think of it like a mobile charger years ago. Everyone has different connector. Eventually, standardization made life easier for everyone. The same principle applies here. IMO gives us the global direction. Of course, if every country fully implements IMO regulations, that already provides a strong foundation. However, the IMO cannot address every regional or local challenge in detail. Each region has its own operational realities, as I said, infrastructure, priorities, politics, as you have said, regulatory environment, and level of digital maturity. This is where regional cooperation becomes important, allowing countries to work together on practical solutions that address their specific needs while remaining aligned with the global standards. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maya. And my following questions is to both of you, and we are very happy to receive some questions from the participants. We've got Bangladesh, Ghana, Somali, so it's globally, Italy. So welcome to all of our participants. I will give one question that I think it's really related to this last question. Ports don't have unlimited budgets, so prioritization becomes a strategic decision. I think it became a strategic decision for the government as a whole. So given the limited resources available to many African ports, but also to MENA ports in this case, what should be the first investment priority over the next decade? Should be physical infrastructure, workforce development, or digital transformation. So what should be the priority for now, as we know that usually governments or port, they have kind of a limited budget. Maybe we can start with Essam, because I think this is this is your expertise.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It's a good question. We cannot neglect one before the other. We have to work on them together for sure. But indeed, a trained, ready workforce that is able to lead in the new technologies and the infrastructure that will be coming is I would say, the first that I will do. This is what we are doing in our strategy, but simultaneously we are working in the others. But developing the human capital is the one, I would say, to your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alammari. Maya, if you have any additional thoughts about this?
I fully agree with engineering Essam, and as someone specialized in training, I totally agree that the best investment ever will be in capacity building, nothing else, and all the others can come later, but capacity building is the first to go with. And I believe really that no ports are below financed. The maritime sector is a self-financing sector, so we should know how to get the resources properly, and everything will be done great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have another question from Feriel. So it's in French, but I can translate it. She is asking, what are the new technologies in the maritime sector that they are facing the climate change that we have? I mean, it's globally, but also let's say in solidarity of the countries in the region. At your knowledge, do you know any work, for instance, of governments that they are investing on some technologies, let's say, that they are to reduce climate change?
Maya, do you want to take this, or I will take it? Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Then I'll take it. Okay, so if I understood the question, dear Khanssa, is regarding any governments that is doing anything regarding climate change,
Yeah,
in the maritime sector.
Let's say it like that. Yes.
Okay, and please, if the question need more explanation, please come back as one who proposed it. Indeed, it's not about governments today. Many governments have signed the Paris Agreement regarding climate change, and this is I don't have the quite exact number of how many governments, but I would say Saudi Arabia is one of them that has been signed, and there is obligations to those governments who have signed. The United Nations the only body is leading the SDGs and those discussions, and there being the Green Fund and others. Back to the technicality, indeed, all companies in the maritime sector and the big 6, 7 liners are investing with the governments about technological centers, new technologies, R&D, to technology to reduce emissions from shipping, to save our beautiful and lovely planet. Then the IMO is leading these discussions with its GHG strategy from 2018 that has been reviewed in 2023, will be reviewed in 2028. And there's been a discussion regarding the net zero framework, which we haven't agreed all into how is to apply it, but will come. But to long story short, yes, many governments are doing this and reducing. And for Saudi, we have now ensure that our fleet is compliant and our fuel is the fuel used is 0.5 sulfur, like the IMO 2020 regulation. And we are investing with our energy companies regarding the new engines that are reducing. So yes, we know. And for the student who's asking or the participant, I would be more than happy to take that separately in a different time if they want. Thank you.
I think your response is very complete, Mr. Alammari. I think you know the efforts of the countries in the region are like any other countries around the world. I mean, every country is doing, I think, their best to also to integrate, you know, new technologies to help out with the climate change. I think my colleague.
Sorry, if I may, just in this, and this is the difference than any negotiations to our future maritime leaders here attending or participating. The only thing and the most important thing in shipping is we are global. So no one is outside this. So please keep that in mind when you negotiate or discuss climate change issue in any time. Sorry.
Very nice highlight, Mr. Alammari. I think you know it's really on the point. So we got some compliments about the webinar, but I think my colleague Anas has like 1 or 2 questions before we close the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Khanssa. And also, my question is to His Excellency in Engineering Essam and also Ms. Maya. From your perspective, what policy and institutional changes are most needed to accelerate the adoption of maritime technologies and digital transformation across MENA countries?
Smile. Ladies first.
We also have another question as like also looking ahead, which emerging technology do you believe will have the greatest transformative effect on the maritime sector? So our question here is in 2 sides, like the most emerging technology that will have the greatest impact on the maritime sector, and the policy and institutional changes that we need to accelerate the adoption of future technologies.
Okay, thank you. Well, in Lebanon, as you know, we are in a bad situation nowadays. We lack policies. Updating regulations. So, and recently I participated in a workshop at the parliament, and as employees in the public administration, maritime sector, we urge our ministers and member of parliaments to update related regulations and the laws, and all directives need to be updated. The first step will be mapping all current regulations with the current needs to see where are the gaps, what should be updated, what should be changed. But it will take time. So our challenge is going faster in this process of updating the policies to help the private maritime sector advance and implement properly the international regulations. Thank you.
Dr. Anas, if I would answer to this question, and please remind me of the first question after. Regarding this, we always, as a dynamic maritime authority, we believe policies and regulations were made to be developed. No laws in the world are, the Bible or the Quran or whatever. They can be changed. So we believe in this. We've done three things. One, we've done good workshops and discussions with the private sector, because sometimes we just feel that we are in that big tower and we just bring out regulations. So we are here to serve the sector. It's not the other way around. So we try to understand what the sector needs. Two, as we are participating with them and engaging, we are following the newest technologies and regulations, and we try to adapt them and have a vision on it. That's why we have strategies. And three, while we are moving forward, we've always been that team that we want to change. We want to make the change. What we are doing, and this is something that I loved about working back at IMO at the time when I was representing my country, until today, that we are here to make a difference to the sector. Let's help each other. No one is left behind. This is the most important thing. And that's why we are doing it in the region. So today, we and Lebanon, as Ms. Maya is here, we are engaging always. We learn from Lebanon. Lebanon are learning from us. We're helping our neighboring countries in different expertise. I will not say we are the experts, but we have expertise in some sector, and some lesson learned we are sharing. Maritime security, for example, we are sharing the return of experience or the lesson learned on it. So this is what we are doing to develop and to keep up with the new technologies. And indeed, new technologies are here not to replace people, but to help and facilitate the life of our great seafarers are working on board. And if you can remind me of the first question, please, Dr. Anas.
Yes, thank you very much, Engineer Sam, and thanks also to Ms. Maya. I understand that our region requires policy and institutional changes, and also you have given great examples of co-creation and co-production with the different stakeholders. Just brief, which emerging technology do you believe will have the greatest transformative effect on maritime sector? Which technology and why? Okay. There are a lot of technologies: AI, digitalization, decarbonization, circularity, etc.
Okay, the emerging technologies to provide an opportunity to create more facilitation to the sector. I would say remote operations, digital platforms, automation. A lot of people will tell you AI. AI is great, but it will not neglect the great work of people and the great people working in the sector. So yeah, I would say maybe digital platforms and the development of any new technologies with the help of AI, for sure. That is helping ourselves. But any technology would serve the great seafarers and the people working in the sector to help. So I can name them, but there are a lot, I would say. But again, the digital platforms, if that would be my answer.
Thank you very much. Back to Professor Khanssa for her closing remarks.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maya. Thank you very much, Mr. Alammari. I think, those last answers about what's the new technologies that we need. It's a global, let's say, remark. We need the same thing everywhere. And in terms of policies and regulation, I think globally we need to do a lot of effort in terms of the implementation and to update also the policies that we have. So thank you very much. Thank you to our participants. Ms. Tishali, we didn't receive your question, but we will be very happy to answer your question. I know that we have some questions here around. So distinguished panelists, colleagues, and participants from around the world. I know that there are even some from the Pacific with us. We have come to the end of what has been a truly rich and stimulating conversation, and we could feel it. I mean, now that we are at the end, we don't want to to end this webinar. I want to begin by saying that this is exactly the kind of exchange that the World Maritime University exists to foster. So my deepest thanks go to our two panelists today, Mr. Engineer Essam M Alammari from Saudi Arabia and Ms. Maya Tayara from Lebanon. You have given us not just expertise, but perspective, grounded, honest, and forward-looking. The MENA maritime community is fortunate to have voices like yours shaping its future. We also want to send our warm wishes to Mr. Omar Gurdal for a prompt recovery. And what strikes me most from today's discussion is a thread that run through every exchange. Transformation in this region cannot be reduced to technology alone. It requires trust between governments and institutions, between regulatory bodies and operators, between the maritime world and the next generation of professionals who will inherit it. And it requires inclusion, of course, of nations at different stages of development, of women. Those contributions remain too often unacknowledged, and of communities whose livelihoods depends on getting this transition right. These are not abstract values, these are operational imperatives. At WMU, this is work we take seriously every single day through our research, our teaching, our programs, and through conversations exactly like this with our partners and experts that we usually invite to exchange with them ideas and point of view. The recording of today's webinar will be made available, and I encourage you to share it widely within your professional and academic networks. The story of MENA region maritime technological future deserves a broad audience. On behalf of the World Maritime University, my co-moderator, Dr. Anas Alamoush, and the entire WMU team, thank you for your time, your engagement, and your questions. They made this session genuinely worthwhile. So safe seas ahead to all of you. Thank you, shukran, and merci.
Say bye.
Thank you.